to be here. The Gospel according to St. Matthew tonight, chapter number 22, verses 17 through 21. St. Matthew chapter 22, verses 17 through 21. We seek the Lord for an anointing that would make preaching effective tonight. We're going to move in the way and out of the way and let the Lord have his way and do what the Lord said to do. St. Matthew 22:17. Tell us, therefore, what thinkest thou? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not? But Jesus perceived this and said, why tempt me, or why test me, you hypocrites? Show me the tribute money. And they brought unto him a penny. And he saith unto them, whose is the image and superscription or inscription? And they said unto him, it is Caesar's. Then saith unto them, render therefore unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God. He asked them to say, bring me the money, and let me see whose image is on it. I don't know, some years ago there was a very popular movie, and I'm not a movie preacher or thematic type preacher, but I began to see something in watching this old movie, Jerry Maguire, and this movie was the pop phrase that actually became a pop culture phrase in our society. And it was, show me the money. And when they asked to see the money, he brought the money to give this slang. It has now filtrated through society, and it is said, show me the money. But really, when you look at it, society has now borrowed the words from Jesus in verse 19. Jesus was the real originator of the phrase, show me the money. He said unto these Pharisees and scribes that were trying to trick him, I'm going to tell you how to offer an offering. Why show me the money? Because that I want to define ownership. For the owner of the money will have his inscription or his picture on it. Now, I'm going to argue with you, and you're not going to like me tonight, but you have maybe some money in your pocket right now. And you would argue with me to say it is yours. But I dare to argue back to tell you, no, it is not. It is not yours, because if you look on it, y'all don't hear me, it does not have your picture or your name. It has the picture of dead presidents. And it says the Department of Treasury. Y'all ain't going to go with me yet. Why are you bringing that point up, brother preacher? Because it is not you that become responsible to make sure that the dollar is a dollar. It is the job of the Treasury that when you give the dollar, that it has value in what's being given. My assignment tonight is to let you know in this season of your life that God is taking you through a process. And in this process, he is stamping upon you his image. Because he said, the next season of your life, I do not want you to offer me anything that don't look like me. And so the praise and worship you give me, I've got to be able to see myself in it. I got to go. I got to go. And here is the problem in the kingdom. I ain't gonna get no help here. We have too long offered him stuff that looked like us. And so now he's saying, render unto Caesar what's Caesar, but what's mine, I want mine. Would you, for the sake of a subject, just touch your neighbor, and it ain't real deep, but just tell that neighbor, say, neighbor, show him the money. Yeah, that's what I want to preach about tonight, that we've got to show him the money. Well, when we hear that word money, we often think of bringing something to God in the way of currency. But when you really begin to understand where I'm trying to go tonight, money is for one purpose. What is the purpose of money? Money is for exchange. If you want something, then you've got to do what? If something is going to come to you, then you've got to release something. I begin to hear God say that the church now must begin to preach against false holiness. Y'all ain't gonna like me here. False holiness is this. It is when we feel that we can offer God something that we have been trained to give him, and our hearts are far from it. And so what ends up happening, you have people that will dress the part, but their heart is not right. They know how to respond in church and do what I call church calisthenics, but really, if the truth be told, they do not have relationship with God. And how do you know they have no relationship? Because at the first sign of attack, they buckle up under the pressure. But when you know who you are and whose you are, hell can rise up and you can say, I am like a tree planted by the rivers of water, and I shall not be moved. Dear hearts, tonight God is calling us to another level of holiness. And when we look at that word holiness, I want to give you a few power words here. If you're going to be holy, number one, you've got to be separated. Somebody help me say separated. No, you cannot understand. Separation does not mean that I am exclusive. And see, that's where we've mixed it up. You've got to know how to be in the world, but yet not be of the world. Our problem has been in trying to please God, we wanted to be exclusive without understanding God was not here to impress church folk. He came to touch those that were on the outside. And if the church is going to accomplish its mission, it's got to learn not to be comfortable with just folk that look and act like you. The real anointing is not to make you comfortable around people that are like you. It's easy to preach to you. It's easy to sing to you. It's easy to lay hands on you. But the real anointing is when we walk out of this door and a demon confronts us, but we're able to say, greater. Consecrated. When you understand that word consecrated, I'm almost there. You understand it is not an element of trying to be superficial, deep. Y'all don't hear me here. Have you ever met deep folk? I don't hear nobody. I'm talking about they're just superficial, deep folk. They always speaking in tongues and always quickening. How you doing? And they ready to go up in the mashanda, and all you was doing was just asking how you day. No, that's not the element of consecration. Consecration is when I know I've been called to a certain lifestyle. And here is where some of y'all are not not going to like me. God had to teach me that there are sometimes deliverance does not mean the absence of your struggle, but deliverance means the control of it. And half of y'all sitting in here need to tell the truth. It ain't gone, you just got control. I ain't got nobody to help me yet. I try to tell my church all the time, you got to keep yourself on the altar because you're one step away from backsliding. Don't sit there and be deep. Whatever he brought you out of, you could go right back to it. But guess what? You've learned how to bring that thing under subjection. And I'm like Paul, I bring my flesh. I got to hurry. I got to hurry. It's the element of being devoted. I'm coming, Pastor, I promise. It's the element of being dedicated. It's the element of belonging. All of this is for him and to him to fulfill his purpose. Exodus 19:23 says this: set bonds about the mount and sanctify it. So what does holiness mean? Holiness means I understand my boundaries. Touch your neighbor and say, know your boundaries. Know your boundaries. No, see, you got to learn that there's some folk can handle some stuff that you can't handle. You got to know your boundaries. I'm trying to get folk to understand everything is not a sin, but some things will set sin off in you. Oh, y'all missed it. Everything is not going to send you to hell. But if you do it, it releases an appetite that you had got in control. You got to make up your mind and say, you know what? I know it ain't wrong, but I'm just not going to do it because it's too close. I like that too much, so I got to bring, touch your neighbor and say, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. See, I knew y'all weren't going to like this kind of message tonight. That's why I preached good last night. Yeah, bring it back. You got to know how to bring your mind back. You got to know how to bring your feelings back, your emotions back. Come on, tell the truth. You don't feel God all the time. You don't want to raise your hand and shout. You got to make